How's it going, guys? Welcome in to Slaughterhouse Sports and Kurt Magoosh. We're on the brink of another season of National Football League play. And, I could have spliced it, I guess. I mean, it would have been a tough process to splice all these videos, but if you're a new YouTuber out there, I mean, that's the way to kind of go about it. You make a video per team and some hype, some opinion that is bold, and I'm going to come on here and I'm going to tell everybody watching this video exactly what I believe is going to transpire in the upcoming year. Some of these predictions can be extremely wrong, and we're going to acknowledge kind of where we went wrong in the process. I'm going to just look at all 32 teams. Got a full water on hand. It's late night. It's that kind of time where we can talk, and There's certain moods that I think you're in life where you're willing to talk and willing to share your ideas, and hopefully this can be one of those videos that kind of comes out good and that people appreciate. So if you have like 30 minutes or driving around or whatever, you're going to like this video, I think, and you're going to find it compelling maybe, and maybe you'll leave some comments about how you feel or just consume it. So we're going to talk about every team. We're going to talk about every award in this process, and we're going to do it right now. All right, so let's start off. We're going to go east to west here. So we're going to start off in the Mecca of the United States, which is one of the first cities founded in the United States, which is New York City. And this has been a football town that has been plagued by awful football. I cannot remember the last time a New York team won in the playoffs. I believe it might have been the Giants' Super Bowl run, and then the New York Jets. Ironically, that year, the New York Jets, like one of those years in between, they took Pittsburgh to the brink and they took Indy to the brink, and then the Giants went on to win the Super Bowl the following year. So there was a time period where New York football was really, really good. And Rex Ryan and the New York Jets, they were wild card warriors. We remember them beating the Bengals, 4:00 game on a Saturday. It was Dustin Keller. It was Mark Sanchez, and then Mark Sanchez and that team went to play Marty Schottenheimer and the Chargers, and they won that game 17-14. And then first play from scrimmage, Braylon Edwards hauls in a 70-yard touchdown, and the Jets are winning the AFC Championship. Following year, they beat the Colts. Last second, Nick Folk beat Manning and Brady. And so I can go on a history lesson about this playoff run, but then they played a terrible game versus Pittsburgh, and frankly, they should have been in that game. They made a cute little comeback late, but they couldn't get Ben off the field in the end, and he hit that third down, and he was clutch as nails during that process. But let's talk about the teams this year. All right, so we got Zach Wilson. We're going to start off. We'll start off with the Giants first. All right, my favorite team growing up. So you'll have to put up with a little personal kind of opinions or personal, how I feel about the team and the players. So New York Giants, covered them for a while on YouTube. Favorite team growing up from Philly, but I just loved, part of it was loved being rebellious. The other part was I absolutely loved the Giants. And my great-grandfather, or my grandfather I'm named after is a Giants season ticket holder. All my uncles on my mom's side are. And it's a couple hours from my house here, but it's freaking awesome. I loved going to Giant Stadium, and, Coughlin, Eli Manning, favorite player, all that stuff. How are they going to do this year? All right, so we got 5 minutes we haven't even dissected, but how are the Giants going to do this year? very low expectations. I was a guy who really bought into the Joe Judge. I just loved everything about his press conferences, how firm and detailed he seemed, how he would hold the team in discipline. But unfortunately, this league has kind of gone away from Joe Judge in that the Patriots used to be so good because they'd run the football. Every player on the roster was prepared. But now the NFL is kind of like the NBA where the star players are going to get foul calls. So the quarterback is going to get roughing the passers. The quarterback is going to throw the ball down the field, get the benefit of a doubt, going to pick up 40 yards because the receiver's going to just flop and fall down and the ref's going to throw a flag. I mean, that's the type of sport that we're all, accustomed to now. All right. So it's still kind of fun to watch. I still really love the NFL. I still love it. I probably like college a little more, but the team aspect of the NFL is something that's kind of going by the wayside. And that's by design. It's by design to appeal to the casual fan and the fantasy, football fan. But so the days that Joe Judge would have been successful are like the 2000s, where you run the football in the trenches, Gettleman, Judge, toughness, grit, physical and mental strength. Over now, it's a passing league. It's a softer product. So, when the Giants went out to play Herbert, they were screwed. How are the Giants going to do now? Got Daniel Jones at quarterback. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. The reason I don't believe in him, and I gave him a chance in the draft process when many Giants fans didn't, is because Daniel Jones, on the move, he cannot make the throws down the field. He cannot square his body. He does not have that ability to drive the ball when he has to move outside of the pocket. Inside of the pocket, he's not efficient with his movement either. If he's ever going to get to a spot where he's going to be good, he's going to have to learn how to plant and replant his body into the pocket. I doubt it's going to happen. He's only had a couple of good games, and then he gets injured. He's an inconsistent performer. His arm strength is near the bottom of the league. He doesn't have a lot of natural ability in terms of driving the ball into tight windows and hitting those 40, 50-yard throws because he doesn't have the arm strength to put it up there and drive the ball deep. He can't create the explosives through the air. Eli Manning, Giants quarterback, one of the great deep ball throwers, had the ability to score quickly, had the ability to make that money throw to the tight end in the back of the end zone, would finish drives. Daniel Jones cannot finish drives. He doesn't have the killer instinct when he plays scared. When the Giants would get to the high red area, the 35-yard line, they would never consistently try to pepper the end zone. Now, maybe Brian Daboll can change that. I'm kind of hoping that the Giants at least are aggressive when they get to the high red area and they can actually start throwing the football, some jump balls for Golladay and Toney, and stretching it out through the air with Daniel Jones. I believe he's too turnover prone and he's not good enough to lead this Giants offense. Tyrod Taylor, a little bit different. Smaller quarterback, again, doesn't play aggressive either, doesn't play like Daboll wants to play. And then he just like that Buffalo-Jacksonville game just sticks out to me where, Buffalo was begging Tyrod to get them past that Jacksonville divisional game, and he got shut out by that Jags team. Now, that Jags team might have been good, all right? But, he's all right, Taylor. But he's not great. He's not exciting. He's not fun. He's, he's worse than Teddy Bridgewater by a little bit. Daboll's personality, a little chippy. Really curious to see when this thing goes a little south, how he's going to be with the media. Can he turn into McAdoo? Now, I know he looks like Ben McAdoo, right? And I wanted Kellen Moore. Yeah, I'm going to hold this theory that Kellen Moore is my favorite coach in the NFL in terms of the highest upside is Kellen Moore to me, just the way his maturity and the way he calls a game. So he could turn out to be Joe Brady and hop around. All right, so anyway, how are the Giants going to fare off this year? The New York Giants, I don't I don't see them making the playoffs. I don't see them being consistent enough. I don't think they know how to win. I don't think Daniel can carry this offense. I don't think they're going to be able to consistently run the ball. I don't think Barkley's going to be healthy. Now, the tight end, Bellinger, is going to have to be a big-time player. We're going to have to see if Austin Allen from Nebraska can make the team. He's a very talented player that I'm surprised didn't get drafted. Defensively, their D-line, Wink Martindale, he's going to give up big plays, but he plays the aggressive style. So stylistically, the Giants are kind of a fun team to watch because they're going to take chances on defense. Now, offensively with Jones, who knows how him and Dable are going to iron this out during the year. I mean, if Jones has an all right year, honestly, and he's like okay, like he was under Shermer in the rookie year, it's going to be bad for Giants fans because then he'll sign a moderate contract, and then the Giants fans, because I don't see Jones winning playoff games. I don't see Jones taking this team deep I don't see him making the playoffs at all. So I see the Giants going like 5 wins. Dable on the hot seat for sure. Maybe the Giants try to draft a quarterback. My third quarterback in this class and somebody that can be the second best quarterback is Peyton Thorne out of Michigan State. I just believe that he has the talent to play in the league. He can complete the deep ball. He's mobile enough in the pocket. His intangibles are second to none. Some of the best intangibles I've ever seen, being a coach's son, the way that he thinks on the field, his leadership skills at Michigan State. There's really nobody that I can really remember like Peyton Thorne. He's a one-in-a-lifetime kind of a guy in terms of a leader. He's a little like Mac Jones, a little bit like how Ty Simpson's going to be, Drew Aller. So those are the kids that are kind of coming up through the process right now. Stroud is going to be amazing too. So, that's the next wave is in the next couple of years. Stroud, maybe Peyton Thorne. I think Bryce will definitely start in the league. I think he'll be a very solid quarterback, Bryce Young. Great intangibles as well. But anyway, the Giants I see going 5 or 6 wins. New York Jets, all about Zach Wilson. Defense is young. Don't expect a lot. Their division is absolutely just brutal. They aren't winning the division, and they aren't going to make a wild card. It's too competitive. Can Zach Wilson progress? Can they get to 7 or 8 wins and really be competitive and upset a couple people? That's what you have to see. You have to see if Mike LaFleur, you have to see if Wilson stays in the pocket, and you have to see if Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. Unfortunately for Saleh and this team, this year, it's an experiment year. You aren't going to do anything. You're not going to make the playoffs. I'm just telling you right now, you're not. And your division is brutal. You're playing against really good coaches. You're playing against teams of all better quarterbacks, all better offensive staffs, all better talent than you have. And unfortunately, you just haven't done it at all. And if you played in the AFC North, you'd actually have an interesting run. And if you played in the South, you'd have an interesting time. You could have a very interesting season if you played in those divisions, but I don't really see it happening. If you were in the NFC in the South, you would also have an interesting kind. You would be Carolina, all right? So the Jets, I see, and I see Wilson actually playing pretty decent ball. I think Wilson has a chance. All right, I do. I think Wilson has a chance to be a pretty good quarterback in this league. So I like Wilson. I like him a little bit, not as much as Mac and Trey Lance, but I definitely like Wilson. I think he's going to stay. I think he has talent, real talent. The throw to Corey Davis is all you have to watch. He replants, he throws it 60 yards. But can he stay in the pocket? He's too skittish sometimes in the pocket, which is really annoying. He'll have a clean pocket, and then he'll fade away. It's how he looks at BYU. He looks like he's 5'9" playing football. He doesn't look big because he's always afraid of the rush, and that's frustrating. But Wilson, the way he can drive the ball, like the RPMs that go on the football, even the intermediate stuff, during the warm months of the year before the weather gets cold, he's going to be effective. There's going to be some really good games from him. And he has the ability, if you stay on this course, to really be there by year 4 or year 5. He's totally a quarterback that can actually play in playoff games and play at a high level. So I do like Wilson. I really do. All right. Robert Saleh, pretty good coach. LaFleur, They're keeping it stable. Joe Douglas, they got to get like 8 wins. They can't go 5. You got to go 8 or 9. No, not 8 or it's like 7, 8 or 7 at the bare minimum. 7 and 10's kind of crappy again. Try to get to 8. Try to be really competitive. Try to split with Miami. Try to buy yourself a Bills or a Patriots. Try to go 2 and 4 in the division and find your way around the schedule. And just navigate to be competitive, all right? And build Wilson and build the chemistry of it. You still have a very young team with Sauce and everybody, but you're really building a fun and exciting product. What side has the bigger upside? It's the Jets than the Giants. I like the coach there, Saleh. I like him more than Dable. I think he's a safer bet. Personality-wise, the way he calls a game. I love the defensive pieces that they're acquiring. The cornerbacks are better. Quinnen Williams needs to step up. You need some good leadership, but the wide receiver core, you got Berrios, you got Elijah Moore. You went and got Breece Hall, who's a nice complimentary back to Carter. So I like the team. I'm liking how it's built. And you're trying to come, I think that they can overtake Buffalo in a couple of years. I think the Patriots and the Dolphins, both with Tua and Mac Jones being under a rookie contract, are going to stay firm. So let's go, I guess, with those other teams. Miami Dolphins. This is the football team that I believe is the most exciting team in the league. You have a first-year coach in Mike McDaniel. You have an electrifying receiver in Tyreek Hill. It is going to be an incredible team to watch. The offense, I think, is really going to pop, especially early in the year. I think Tua's really going to establish himself, and I'm thinking that this team is a playoff football team, and Tua Tagovailoa, if it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen. I love the way he's progressing in training camp. I love the mentality that he's shown. It's year 3. I'm loving it. He hasn't gotten the great reps of Flores. There's a little bit of distraction, but this is a playoff team, and it's got to be a playoff team. Can they win the division? I'm not sure yet. I think the Patriots are a better bet to win the division, actually. So now let's go to the AFC East in total. I think Buffalo has Josh Allen. They came close last year. There's going to be a hangover over last year. All right. I don't think they're going to run the table and go 13-4, 14-3. Now, I could be wrong, but last year they were inconsistent. The defense is not as crisp. You are losing Brian Dable. You're losing Webb. You're losing a couple of players. You still have Allen, Gabriel Davis, but the running game is not good, and I don't think Allen could just keep the team afloat for the entire year. Now, the Patriots and Belichick couldn't stop Josh Allen, and when it came to the nitty-gritty last year, the Pats had a chance to win that division, but Josh Allen just took it from him. Josh Allen embarrassed Bill Belichick in a way that Bill Belichick's never been embarrassed before. Bill Belichick is having trouble adjusting to the power of Josh Allen. All right, Josh Allen owns Bill Belichick twice. One time, Josh Allen went into Foxborough, and he just completely obliterated Bill Belichick, and you could put any old graphic phrase that you want that's inappropriate to say that what Josh Allen did to Bill Belichick, but that's exactly what happened. And not only one game, but in the playoffs, that was the most embarrassing Patriots playoff game that's ever happened. It was really good that the Patriots made the playoffs, but they got absolutely punked by Josh Allen. Josh Allen, the way that Josh Allen really played last year in that Patriots game was the best game of his career. Against Kansas City, he had a good fourth quarter, good third quarter, but he was losing the entire game. Against the Patriots, he was magical that night. In both games, the regular season and the first game of the postseason, Josh Allen was walking on water good. So Josh Allen has the ability to be the best quarterback in the league. All right, so if it's all about the quarterback, which it is kind of in Green Bay, Could it be in Buffalo and Josh Allen? Josh Allen's still a little bit younger than Aaron Rodgers is, and Josh Allen is still even a little bit more inconsistent, but the highs of Josh Allen are better. The weapons of Josh Allen are great in Buffalo. You get Joe Brady, actually, which is a phenomenal signing. So it's going to be a really incredible race between Mac Jones. I look at Mac Jones and the Patriots, and I look at I'm really excited about what Mac can do in year 2. I think his intelligence, the level that Tyquan Thornton's going to play at, the level that Devontae Parker's going to be, Damian Harris, this offensive staff under Judge and Patricia, middle of the year, they have a sweet spot in their schedule, and in October and November, that's when they get really hot. This Patriots team, all right, the guys that they have with Hunter, Jonnu Smith in the system again, combining with Kenny Bourne, Aguilar. There's good weapons on this team. The defense is going to get there. The offensive line should be fine. I really like this Patriots team a lot, and I think they're consistent, and I actually think they're going to win the AFC East. So that's, I guess, one of my bold predictions is I'm taking New England over Buffalo. They're a better complete team. The coaching staff is there. Mac Jones is that good. He's that special. Mac Jones is going to be a top 7, top 6 quarterback. He'll be a top 6 in the league this year. He's going to be a really great quarterback. He's going to be really consistent. So that's what I see there from the Patriots. Continuing around the league. We're going to go now to the NFC East. I believe the Dallas Cowboys have a great chance to not only win the NFC East with Dak, but you have Dak, you have Dan Quinn, you have staff continuity again. The defense is there. The team is hungry. The team had a bad playoff loss. This is Dak's best chance he's ever going to have to win a Super Bowl. You have Kellen Moore's not a head coach yet. You have CeeDee Lamb entering his prime. You have Zeke and Pollard that are going to still be pretty powerful. You have really good offensive line play. The Cowboys are more consistent than the Eagles, and they're going to end up winning this division going away. I do actually think that. The Eagles could be a playoff team for sure. Schedule's really easy. It's all going to depend on Gannon and that defense. The Eagles are a pretty decent defense, but they're still a little bit young. Dan Quinn and the Cowboys are just better than the Eagles, and they're going to be a little bit better and a little more consistent than Philly, and they're going to win this division, and they're going to be set up to try to get to a championship. Washington Redskins football team, Commanders team. This is my team that I think could drop like a rock. I've never really been a fan of Ron Rivera. I think that Cam Newton got him to that Super Bowl, and it was great, but just like John Fox, who got to a Super Bowl, he's past his coaching prime. I think that if he was fired, nobody would hire him in the league. That's a harsh thing to say. Carson Wentz, no continuity really. Young defense, but the offensive staff is just, the running game's not there. The O-line, the way that franchise is run, everything about it, I'm completely out on this team. And maybe the defense shows up, but I don't see Ron. I see Ron being the coach, or the first coach fired. So I've never met Ron Rivera. I have nothing really personally against him, but I think he's overrated in terms of what he's done with Washington Redskins football and the Commanders now they are. And it's a sad franchise, man. It's sad. They had a great history in the 80s, and they just they've never really found, the right coach and quarterback to build continuity in that team. And it's sad. It's going to make me cry. Is it? I don't know. I was a Giants fan most of my life, but I hope they stay at FedEx forever. I'm sad when some of these things, change around with stadiums and whatnot. So that's the NFC East. That's the AFC East. We're going to go out to the Midwest, and we're going to go to the Norths of both. So let's tackle NFC North. I still believe the division goes for Aaron Rodgers. I believe the Packers will still be fine. I like their young receivers, Aaron Jones. Until you beat the King, it's still the Kings. A lot of people are going to be high on Minnesota this year, but Aaron's still Aaron, and that division is full of young teams that really don't know what they're doing. I mean, Minnesota is fine. Minnesota will be chippy. They'll compete for a wild card exactly like last year. This division isn't too much exciting right now. I think Detroit's the most interesting team. If they can get to 7 or 8 wins, really start building something with Goff and Campbell, they'll be on trajectory year 3 to actually make the playoffs as a wild card, or even maybe win the division next year. They got to again take a big step from 3 wins to about 8 or 9. They got to be a little relevant and frisky. Like, they got to go and be relevant, still fighting for a wild card, but not quite get there. Chicago, I don't like the way they're building. I don't believe in the quarterback, Justin Fields. I don't believe in the coach whatsoever, in Eberflus. Poles has not really done a great job with the draft. I think Chicago, again, just like the Washington Redskins, that's the team that I'm canceling off of the list completely, is Chicago. I think that they're not going to be very good this year. So if Justin Fields and this team surprises, bam. But again, they're not too good of a team. So am I really going out on a limb with those options? Then let's look at the North in the AFC. All right, so my hot take about this division is that when we get to the Final Four, I don't think we're going to see any teams in there. I mean, Baltimore's the only team that can make it. I mean, I think Cincy's going to take a step back. Super Bowl hangover, Joe Burrow. Defense is not very good there. Historically, not a great franchise. You know, they got to play Tannehill, and they made great plays at the end of the game, and they had a great half against Kansas City. All right, so you got to give them credit. And then they beat a Raiders team that was terrible. So, I mean, you look at Burrow last year, he was magnificent in the playoffs in terms of he was clutch. Like Joe Burrow, the best thing about him is he knows the momentum of the game. He knows when he needs to convert a third down. It sounds stupid on the surface, like knowing momentum and you want to do well on every play. He knows when to peak, and he peaked in that Kansas City game brilliantly. Lou in that defense, that was the greatest half by far in that franchise's history, at least that I've seen. I wasn't alive in 89 or 90. But Joe Burrow, you look at the receivers on the team, you got one amazing receiver in Chase. You got Higgins, who's kind of a hybrid player, who's all right. He's a nice player. Will Joe Burrow stay healthy? How's that offensive line going to work? The running back Mixon's getting really old. The defensive talent is really, really average. They haven't really had any great draft picks. They're not a special football team, in my opinion. Now, maybe Joe Burrow's great again, but I see Baltimore as the team that's complete. I like their defense. They had a wonderful draft. Lamar Jackson is a guy that everybody forgets about. He's a playmaker. He's in the prime of his career. You had Rashad Bateman, and Rashad, I wasn't too high out of him on Minnesota. I'm a big Minnesota fan. I didn't think he was fast enough for the league. He's going to actually show out and do better than I even anticipated. Mark Andrews. So this Ravens team, they're favored to win this division. They're definitely going to play well. Cleveland, don't like it. Don't really like the coach. A lot of drama going on, obviously, around Deshaun Watson. When's he going to play? When's he's not? If they made a wild card in this AFC, it's borderline magical and ridiculous. They're going through a lot of transition right now. They're building a very weird roster where are they on a good trajectory, or are they paying the quarterback too much? Or do they have a lot of room for growth? Are they building this thing the right way, continuity-wise? And then Pittsburgh, good defense, Trubisky. Tomlin's always a very good coach. They'll be around, but they're not a threat. I hope Trubisky has a really good year because I don't really believe in Pickett that much. So I was kind of high on Pittsburgh last year. Ironically, Big Ben's last season. This division to me isn't that exciting. It's just not. There's, in terms of excitement in the AFC, I mean, is the West really exciting to me? Kind of know all those teams. The East is by far the one division in all football that I love. I love every team in the AFC East. The South is, that's not an interesting division either. So the North is maybe the second, most interesting. In terms of the West is a really good, it's a good division. You have the Chargers and the Chiefs. Then you have the Raiders, and the Raiders aren't going to make noise, okay? Josh McDaniels' first year with Derek Carr, it's not going to – I mean, they have a decent defense with Graham and everybody. The pieces there should make sense, but are they going to get enough running game? And you're playing against the Chargers, and the Chargers are my powerhouse pick. I'm going to drop one right here. Chargers win that division. Chargers are the best team in the AFC. The Chargers – are probably going to win the Super Bowl. Justin Herbert, MVP. Khalil Mack, Bosa, Staley is going to be great in year 2. They're peaking. They're primed to be an amazing football team. Amazing. They're covered at every spot. Austin Eckler, they run the ball. Herbert is unbelievable. Herbert, it's his golden year in the NFL right now. Year 3 is when... Year 3 is like junior year of college. Year 3 is like one of your best seasons. You pretty much peak as a quarterback in your late 20s in terms of how you can win. Then you put up stats in your 30s, and then when you're older in your late 30s, you might have a chance again. That's kind of how it works. This is going to be the chance for Herbert to win the ring, and this is the perfect year. I love them over Kansas City. Kansas City's dropping back. They lose Tyreek Hill. Their offense doesn't have the same pop. Their defense isn't where it used to be. This thing is going to be over this thing's going to be way over in Kansas City. So that's what I see. And then in the NFC West, I'm getting a little bit cut off here on my feed. The NFC West, though, to go through it, I see the 49ers winning that division. I could see a 49ers-Cowboys thing in the end. The Rams still going to be good? Probably. But Trey Lance up there with Herbert, they're my 2 picks for MVP. I would then take a shot on Tua and Mac Jones. One of them from the AFC East is going to prove to be very formidable. I love San Francisco, and I think that this defense and this team is poised and ready to make a run. And then if I had to choose who wins the Super Bowl I think it could be the Chargers and San Francisco. Who's going to win that game? Herbert versus Trey Lance in the end. I'm actually going to take the Chargers to probably win the Super Bowl. So that's where I'm leaning, because I think Trey Lance, he has the most ability in this league. All right, that's what I think of him. And let's see if I got to empty this some of these files now. Maybe it'll give me a little more room here to make a video. Trey Lance, I mean, if you're talking NFL in terms of talent, it's Josh Allen, Herbert, and Lance. Then Aaron Rodgers. Lance is right in that group to me. It's going to seem ridiculous right now to hear that sentence. Could prove to be absolutely, completely wrong, or you could look next year and Lance is the next Mahomes, and then you'll look up and this video is not going to have the same resonance because it's like, yeah, no crap. Lance is an MVP guy. Lamar Jackson year 2, Mahomes year 2 MVP. Lance's ability to throw on the run is unlike something we've seen. Unlike a lot we've seen. The weapons are amazing. You get Kittle, you get Debo, and Brandon Ayuk has been a massive disappointment. But Brandon Ayuk is a guy that has ability to really consistently be a top-notch star breakout player. And Kittle's fantastic. You have Juszczyk. You're going to have Elijah Mitchell running the ball. A combination of backs there. You still have Kyle Shanahan scheming up great plays. Shanahan, one of the best coaches in the league. I think it's Shanahan, Staley. I think the power is out west. I know I didn't talk about Denver much. I just think Nathaniel Hackett, I don't think that the defense is ready to really challenge the Chargers in the AFC. But then going back to Trey Lance, I mean, the way that this guy creates explosive plays, the way that this guy throws, his talent is endless, can make any throw on the field, can throw from ridiculous arm angles, really smart guy, really, sensational leadership qualities, a winner at North Dakota State. This guy was the best pick in the draft in 2020. Yes. It's going to be between him and Mac about who's going to be the best pick in that draft, because Mac Jones could be very special for New England. But are they going to be able to beat Josh Allen in their division? And then the only way that they can ever beat Herbert is if they're hosting the AFC Championship game. And then even then, to beat Herbert and Staley, that is going to be the duo to beat. Herbert and Staley versus Lance and Shanahan. Those are the quarterbacks that I believe in, that have the most upside, that have the best teams around them. I love the Chargers defense, and I love the Niners defense. All right. I love the quarterbacks on both teams. The tight end play is pretty good on both teams. It's great with San Francisco. San Francisco, even with Garoppolo, got to the NFC Championship. They're hungry. The Rams already accomplished the goal last year. The 49ers are ready to be a consistent team in the regular season. And I think that this offense is just going to be unleashed under Trey Lance. All right. So that's everything that I believe in. I think that this is going to be just like Alex Smith to Mahomes, and this could be absolute hyperbole here. Then you look at my man Drew Lock. Fortunately, I don't see him doing a lot. Can he beat out Geno Smith? That's going to be the first order of operations. I'm not even sure that Drew Lock can even do that. Don't hold your breath. I got disappointed with how it went in Denver, kind of like the Giants, and winning games with Drew Lock. Just stay level-headed. Think about each day. If you're a Drew Lock fan like I am, every day is important. Every rep, every red zone period, get as good as you can, lead as good as you can, and put everything into the training camp period to beat out Geno Smith. And if he starts week 1, then there's a small chance that he's consistent, that he stays healthy, and that he actually plays reasonable football, and that he gets to a Taylor Heineke level of respect from the national media. But we'll see if they even start him in Seattle. I mean, I would. I've seen what Geno's like. Locke is more mobile, has a bigger arm down the field. Geno intermediately has actually really improved as a quarterback. But with this rebuilding team, you want to at least see if Locke is the guy. So I really hope Drew Lock starts. Arizona's a complete mess. They signed up for Kyler and Kingsbury, but just like the Bears, the Jags, the Redskins, they are one of the worst organizations in all of the NFL. So I don't like the way that they're really building this thing either. What other teams do I not like the way that they're building it? Houston's actually going at a nice pace. Houston and Detroit are rising the right way. Houston, Atlanta, and Detroit, because this year's the year, even the Jets, where you're like a 3 or 4 win team, but you're going to get to like 8 wins, and you have a young quarterback in the wing there. All right, if you are, Atlanta, you're Atlanta. You have a stable coaching staff. You have Terry Fontenot, who I really respect. You have a really smart coaching staff, really good staff. Your rookie class, you're very, very young on the defensive side of the ball, but with Dean Pease, you're really learning how to play defense. Now, I would also have a guy that's a defensive assistant that is eventually, if Dean Pease decides to retire because he's a little bit older, that's going to be ready to just take over, so you keep that staff continuity going. But I really like how the Lions are young, they have a foundation, and Atlanta is young. And just like Buffalo kind of took their shot last year, you build it young, you build it under a reasonable rookie contract, and then you take your shot. So the team's really taking their shot this year at the ring. Let's talk about the teams that are actually contenders to win the ring. All right? I believe the Dallas Cowboys are contenders to win the ring in the NFC. I said San Francisco. I don't believe the Rams have the fortitude to do it again. I don't believe that Stafford and Kupp and McVay can do it again. Maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I don't see their competitive juices again. McVay was going to retire. I don't see it. Do I see Green Bay with an opportunity? I do. Aaron Rodgers, running game, a little bit of disrespect. The Eagles I would put in that mold as an actual playoff team in that mold. I said the Cowboys already. So if I were to rank what teams are going to represent the NFC, and I get 4 choices to be correct on this bet, I'm going to take, I just said I dismissed the Rams, but I'm going to take Niners, Cowboys. I'll still take the Packers and Aaron. So Niners, Cowboys. So I'm still taking a lot of teams from last year's playoffs, right? As stupid as that sound, I just forgot Tampa Bay. As stupid as that sound, I just forgot the Tampa Bay Bucs. So we're going through here. It's rough draft. Okay. Got to think if I can picture them winning. No. Don't think that the coaching staff is good enough to actually win that. I think Brady's going to get older, so I'm not going to put them in my 4. I'm not going to put the Rams either. Now, maybe the Rams will, again, get me, because last year I thought they didn't have a chance either. To the Philadelphia Eagles, do they have the ability to run the football? They're always a team that I worry about being a Giants fan. But the more I look at it, I'm going to put Brady in there. Brady has an absolute, you got to put Brady in the top 3. So the Rams, the Packers, Brady, and the Cowboys. Then just after, I'll actually go Eagles 5 and Rams 6. That'll probably end up being your playoffs. Then we got one other team. Somebody from the South's actually going to surprise. If Baker has a year, it's Carolina, but the Falcons are right there and the Vikings. I like Atlanta. For some reason, Mariota, Arthur Smith, they're really a tough team. And I love the way that they're building this thing. But their defense is so young that I'm a little afraid, and I've been burned by young defenses before. But I love everything about their draft class. So Atlanta's building this thing in a beautiful way with it. Cheap quarterback and a wonderful complete team that is really a wonderful watch for children of all ages and adults of all ages. Everything about the Atlanta Falcons is homegrown, is humble, is just an underdog, is like the most likable franchise in the NFL are the Atlanta Falcons. And knock on wood, because who knows, you could have a scandal come out about them, but that's the way it is. It's Atlanta and Detroit. And I've had this discussion, many times. In the AFC, who's going to take their shot at the ring? What teams have their opportunities to get to the ring and take their shot? It's pretty much the Chargers. The Patriots, certainly with Mac Jones and Belichick. If it goes for New England are right there. I'm going Josh Allen too. I'm not putting the Colts or any team in the South in this discussion. I think the Baltimore's a little young for this discussion. So then you have Kansas City in this discussion. Or is Kansas City really in the 4? I'm not putting Kansas City in. I mean, that could be absolutely asinine, or to not put Joe Burrow in. But I said I'm taking Herbert, Mac Jones. I said I would take Josh Allen. Am I going Dolphins next? I actually will put the Dolphins in the top 4, as crazy as that sounds. So the entire AFC East, by the way, you could have 2 wild cards from the East. That's kind of how I see it going. You have your 4 division champions and then 2 wild cards in the East. So I see the Dolphins, the Patriots, and the Bills all getting in. Very big possibility. Then I see the Chargers winning that division. Then you're going to have, like, I'll take Kansas City maybe, and then the last wild card. So it is going to be one of the craziest playoff runs ever if you have Mahomes, Mac, Tua, Herbert. I'm even excluding, well, I guess I'm taking the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, so I'm going to take a team from the AFC. And then who's coming from the South? Is it going to be Matt Ryan, or is it going to be Tannehill in that team? I'm gonna go Matt Ryan, but they're one of the worst teams to make the playoffs. I don't believe in the Colts. But again, they're like in the early 2000s, they would have had a chance with an older Matt Ryan. They're a complete team. They're kind of for your adults of all ages kind of team. But they've been in the same spot for so long with Chris Ballard, and everyone's like, oh my God, Chris Ballard. Whoa. Ever since Andrew Luck, they haven't made an AFC championship. So I know that everybody said they're right on the doorstep, but Buffalo was closer to breaking down the door than the Colts were. I know the Bengals already broke down the door. That's how stupid this argument sounds, but you can't pick everybody here. And maybe it's a little bit of a bias against the Bengals and the Rams for some reason in my head, but I don't see any of those teams getting back. I said I'm picking Kansas. I'm picking the Niners and the Chargers. Coming in later, slightly after, you can look at the Cowboys. All right, the Cowboys can make it. If you look at quarterbacks, like, is a quarterback or team? So the Patriots have the team to do it, but then you have the studs of Josh Allen, and you have Tua in those weapons. So you have the talent of Miami as well. But you have a first-year coach, and is he ready to do it? So overall in the AFC, it's going to be an absolute war. In the NFC, it's a little more predictable. It's kind of your teams from last year. Your Cowboys, your Niners, your Rams are kind of going to be around. The Eagles on the outside. They're okay. And then there's so many teams that you could just eliminate from day one, even making the postseason or even threatening in the NFC. In the AFC, I mean, the entire East, except for the Jets, is going to be fascinating. The West is still a good division, really the best division in the NFL. You know, you do have the Raiders and the Broncos, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Man, oh man, what a time. What a time to be alive, to witness what should be an interesting season. First week of the NFL, by the way, not going to record a video on anything that goes down because it's 17 games. It's too many games for these players. I like consolidating it. All right, so Thursday night, hopefully nobody gets injured, but you're not going to hear about a Thursday night analysis either. I don't like Thursday night games. You know, guys playing on 3 days of rest. It's okay. I've kind of gotten used to it over the years, but I still don't really like it. And, I'm probably, if it's the Dolphins or one of my teams, I'll watch. But, you know, what teams will I watch on a Thursday? Detroit, one of my teams. Probably the Giants to check in, Dolphins, maybe Zach Wilson, Drew Lock. Could the Texans sneak in there? Who knows? I said Atlanta and Detroit are kind of my team. So that's kind of the NFL podcast, guys. We kind of saved it all up. A lot of teams in the NFL. Could Baker Mayfield surprise? There's a lot of storylines out there in the NFL. But that's kind of how I see the trajectory of the year going, guys. All right, thank you, guys. Who will win the MVP? I'll take Trey Lance to win the MVP. Take Herbert to win the whole thing.